Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk about three stocks and how potentially you can double your money. But before I do that, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share this video, and add the comments. So there are three stocks that I've reviewed. They are relatively new stocks. They had an IPO. They're all three technology stocks. So the first one I want to talk about today is Shift Technology Inc. I have done another video how I made money in Shift in 2 days. I made $500 in Shift within 2 days, and I still believe that Shift Technology is a right long-term stock if you want to double your money in relatively short period of time. I will discuss more about what Shift does, what is their business model, how they make money, what's their revenue. The second stock that I want to talk about is Airbnb. Airbnb is a pretty, relatively very new stock. They had an IPO. I'll talk about valuation, the business model, the revenue, and whether it's possible to double your money in Airbnb or not. And the third stock I'm going to talk about is one of the buzz stock at the moment, DoorDash. Now, DoorDash is a food delivery app. So all three stocks are technology stocks. They're heavily invested in technology. When it comes to ROI, the return on your investment, it's important to review the numbers. Now, it is true that the market right now does not really relate to the valuation, but there will be a time when market will start considering the revenue, the profitability, and all the kind of good stuff. So let's start with Shift Technologies. As I mentioned before, and watch out my video about Shift Technologies, relatively low value stock that can double in price. They have a lot more potential to grow, and I'll share their numbers. So Shift Technologies is trading at $8.64 today. We are in mid-December right now. As you can see, the stock price. Now, their one-year target, they have given one-year target estimate of $15. Now, their market cap is $700 million. Now, usual trading these days for Shift is 1.6 million stocks. That's the average volume. Their 52-week range for Shift Technologies, $6.40 as the lowest price, and highest it went up to $12.75. Now, today's range is probably not so important, but what I want to further talk about in terms of Shift is, let's take a look at what Shift does and what is their business model. So the Shift Technology is a peer-to-peer marketplace, and they are in the buying and selling of used car industry. The company was founded in 2014, and it's based in San Francisco and California, and in the West Coast. They were offering services in San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, in California to begin with. They also expanded recently in Portland, Oregon. Now, the Shift Technology they have a pretty good business model. Shift Technology raised approximately $300 million as of 2019, and it has pretty good opportunity to grow the company. Now, they are in 4 or 5 different markets at the moment. They are in California, as I mentioned before. They're also in Portland. They started expanding themselves into the West Coast, mainly San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Jose, and San Diego. Recently, they started operating also in the Texas region. Now, it's a pretty specialized market, and each area is different when it comes to used car sales. It depends upon a lot of different factors, whether people buy a lot more cars versus they don't. As an example, some of the metro areas, New York might not be the best market to start with, but Texas could be a great market to expand for Shift Technologies. Now, if you look at the Shift Technologies stock, once they started trading, let's take a look at year-to-date chart. Now, as you can see here, Shift Technologies was The stock was around $10 for a pretty good amount of time, and it spiked up all the way up to $12.75 in October, as you can see on my screen. Now, from that point onwards, the stock declined and it went all the way down to $6. From that point onwards, stock went back up. Now, here is something happened. The executives declared that each executive will buy $100 worth of share from the open market. And that boosted the confidence in the company. Since then, the stock has been trading in between $8 to $10. And I do believe, based on the fundamentals, there are a few things you need to consider about Shift. The first one is they're relatively very small company. Second one is their market cap is 700 million and it has a lot more potential to grow. It has a lot more opportunities to expand in general. Third thing is the stock price is pretty low. I think $8 or $9. It has very good opportunity to get doubled in relatively short period of time. Now, I'm not sure when it's going to get doubled, so do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, but what I wanted to say is, based on the business that they have, there's a very good opportunity. Once you set up a business model, use the revenue, put it back into the business, and sort of run the cycle over and over again in newer areas will open up the avenues for revenue for the company. So that's why I believe Shift will be a very successful business model. Now, in general, compared to other companies, Shift's market cap is pretty low. I think it has a very good chance to go back all the way up to $1 billion. Now, as you can see, it's $700 million. It started with almost $300 million. As if company is doing pretty well in terms of their expanding themselves pretty carefully. I do believe that they will be expanding in newer and newer markets. As long as they can keep expanding, as long as they keep their operational costs down, I do think there is a big market for Shift to expand upon. Now, why is that? Shift Technologies. If you know about Carvana stock is trading at $260 at the moment, as you can see on my screen. Now their market cap is $44 billion. Now Carvana is doing pretty good compared to Shift. It's a huge company, but all in all, Shift has a very similar business model. Now, if you think Carvana is doing great, and I think it's a great business model, my understanding is, yes, Shift is a competitor and it's also smaller compared to Carvana, but I think even if it gets 25% of the business market share, it has a good potential to grow up to $2 to $5 billion in relatively low time. Now, going back to Shift, this is the NASDAQ site. It started trading and 1 year target that I see here is $17. And yes, this target change over the time. So I do believe that there's a good potential for Shift to double your money in relatively low time, especially if you get a stock around $8.50. And potentially you can double the money in a short period of time. You have to wait maybe for a couple of quarters until they raise their revenue, raise their market cap, raise their market share. I do believe that they have pretty good management. When they released their earnings, their executives were all over the place while answering the questions. But I think the reason is they're relatively new. They are going to gain more experience as to how to represent themselves and how to handle expectations from the investors. And I do believe that Shift has a very good potential to double the stock from $8. It can be around $13, $14 probably next year. Now, Shift Technology announced a record revenue of $60 million in third quarter. And I think this revenue number can only go up because they're expanding in newer areas and newer markets. Their fourth market was in Texas. They opened up in multiple locations in Texas state. And if they keep expanding, I think they will have a lot more revenue in upcoming quarters. As you can see right here, their gross profit is $3.7 million and their adjusted gross profit grew 156% year over year. So I think they're doing pretty phenomenal job in terms of their revenue, their profitability, So what I wanted to show you here is it wouldn't take too long for a company to show double the profit, because 4,000 total units is relatively very small compared to what Carvana does. I think to grow from 4,000 to 8,000 in total units sold within 1 quarter is pretty doable if they expand into larger market and locations. Now, once again, going back to Carvana, and I wanted to show you real quick their chart and how the stock grew. So as you can see on my screen, if I go to 1 year chart, the Carvana's stock was around $22, as you can see right here. From $22 in March 2020, it went all the way up to $266. Now it's 10x money. If you have invested in Carvana just in March, you would have gotten 10 times more money on your investment. So I think there is a pretty good chance for Shift to do the same. You can get 5 times more pretty easily, but you should do your own research. The second stock I wanted to talk about was Airbnb. Airbnb is relatively a new stock. It started trading very recently. What I noticed is Airbnb's market cap is $82 billion. Now their stock is trading at $138, as you can see. Again, their market cap is $82 billion. Now, what I think about their 1 year target, $104.33 in December. Now, if you see the trading price, it's higher than 104. So that makes me think that the stock is not going to sustain where it is. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Airbnb is a great stock or not? My answer is yes, it's fundamentally a great company. The company is doing pretty well. Everyone knows Airbnb. They have a larger market share in North America and Europe. They are a global company. Can they make more money in a long term? Definitely they do. They have a pretty robust market. If they unlock the market for business, they can unlock a lot more revenue. However, I strongly believe that Airbnb is at cap at the moment in terms of both their valuation, their market cap, and it could be an IPO hype. Now, Airbnb is a great company, and I wanted to share this article with you that Airbnb's IPO is reasonably valued, but it's a risky IPO because of just the hype and the way the stock was listed. Airbnb in the beginning, in November and December, valuation was $26 billion. However, once the IPO was launched, as you can see, their market cap went all the way up to $82 billion, which is pretty high. With this high market cap, they will need to maintain their profitability, their revenue, to maintain their stock price, to maintain their market cap. Airbnb will need to sustain their revenue, sustain their profitability. And even if they double their revenue, that does not necessarily mean that they will do a lot more into profit. What I believe is if you want to double the money in Airbnb, I do not foresee that their price could be double from this point. So right now they're at 140. I do not believe that within a year or two, they could be 280. And now, no one knows how the stocks will play, but this is just, I believe, based on the numbers and the research that I have done for myself. So this is the story about Airbnb. Once again, I do not think that you can double the money easily in Airbnb in a short period of time. Now, the third stock I want to talk about is DoorDash. DoorDash is a technology company that is heavily invested into the food delivery market. DoorDash acquired the market a lot faster compared to their competitors. Some of their competitors are Uber Eats and Grubhub. But DoorDash has a lot more locations, a lot more restaurants, kind of part of their services offering. And DoorDash is widely accepted by the market in all the geo. So DoorDash is doing pretty good as a company. DoorDash also opened up their businesses for the convenience item with Walgreens CVS. Now DoorDash's stock is trading at $158. with a huge market cap of $50 billion. Now, is it a good stock to hold? Of course, yes. I do believe that DoorDash has a very good business model. They're going to aggressively grow. They have an advantage of having pandemic where the restaurants are closed. So people are forced to order and they cannot really go to the restaurants. The restaurants has no choice but to offer a lot more pickups. DoorDash also offers pickups, not only delivery. But DoorDash in general is offering a great service for their customers and also for the restaurants. The majority of the revenue comes from the merchant. Merchant in this case is restaurants. They also charge a small convenience fee to the user who orders from DoorDash. Now, 1 year target according to the site is $150. Now, if you see the stock where it is trading is 158.05. Now their 52-week range is $151 to $195. If we quickly look at their chart, the stock went down pretty quickly compared to their IPO price. So what I believe in general that DoorDash's market cap is pretty high. Now, one thing to also notice is DoorDash's valuation was only $32 billion during the IPO. And in June, their valuation was $16 billion. So it kind of doubled up in 5 or 6 months, as you can see just right here. DoorDash as a company is doing pretty well. But can they sustain? I'm not sure. Their market cap is right now $52 billion. So in general, it ramped up pretty fast. Now, is it a good price to buy DoorDash? Probably not. I do believe that DoorDash's stock will be, you can buy DoorDash at a discount price from where it is, especially if there's a market crash, as the analysts have been saying for a while. In 2021, you can get DoorDash at a cheaper price. Now, originally, DoorDash wanted to float the stock at somewhere between $75 and $85. And as you can see, the stock price is double than what the market thought it will be. So, as for now, DoorDash is doing pretty well in trading, but it might not be able to double as fast as Shift Technologies, because Shift's market cap relates to the revenue, their profitability, and the way the stock can grow, the way their business can grow. Now, one more thing about DoorDash I found pretty interesting is this is not apples to apples, but however, I wanted to share some of the big brands when it comes to food industry or the restaurants and their market cap. So as you can see on my screen, Chipotle's market cap is almost $37 billion. Yum Brands is $31.3 billion market cap. And Domino's Pizza is $15 billion. Now, the Dunkin' brands are 8 or 9, close to $9 billion market cap. Now, looking at this, it also makes me think that right now, $50 billion for DoorDash in terms of market cap is a hype. I do think that it is way higher valuation than it should be, and I don't believe that you can double your money in DoorDash that quickly. So to sum it up, going back to the 3 stocks that I discussed, Shift, Airbnb, and DoorDash, I believe that Shift is relatively lower priced stock at $8 or $9, especially at the moment. 52-week low for Shift is $6.40 or maybe $6.50. I do believe that Shift has a lot more potential to grow their business, grow their revenue, and ultimately grow their profitability in very short term. So I highly recommend. So for myself, I'm thinking I'll buy Shift for a small amount in my total portfolio, and it will double relatively sooner than Airbnb and DoorDash. I do believe all Shift, Airbnb, and DoorDash, they are all great stocks to be part of their portfolio. But if you're looking for return in a short period of time, or if you want to double your money or maybe 5x your money, I think Shift Technologies is a great stock to invest in. Thanks for watching my video. If you like my video, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys.